I'm Margaret Dalton. I spent 31 years as a flight attendant for a major international carrier. I worked transatlantic routes, Pacific routes, South America. If there was a custom line at the end of the flight, I stood near it and watched what happened to my passengers after we landed. And in all those years, over 11,000 flights, the thing that terrifies me most right now is not turbulence, not medical emergencies, not the chaos of a cancellation. It is what I watched happen to an elderly woman named Evelyn Shoreham at a U.S. Customs checkpoint in 2024. They asked to see her phone, and what happened next changed the way I think about flying forever. If you are over 60 and you are carrying a smartphone across the U.S. border, or even coming home to the country you have lived in your whole life, I need you to listen to me very carefully, because the airport your phone walks into is not the airport you remember. And what they can do with that little device in your pocket would have been unthinkable 10 years ago. Nobody is going to warn you. The airline is not going to send you an email about this. So I am going to tell you myself. My own mother was the reason this topic hits me so hard. She was 72 when she flew back from visiting my brother in London. She had a wonderful trip. 2 weeks with her grandchildren. The happiest I had heard her sound on the phone in years, since Dad passed. She was coming home through JFK, and I told her what I always told her. Mom, just go through the line, answer their questions, smile, and you will be fine. I had worked in this industry for nearly 3 decades. I knew the system, or I thought I did. What I did not account for was that the system had changed underneath all of us, quietly, while we were not paying attention. My mother's phone, the one I set up for her, the one she used to FaceTime the grandkids, had become something that a Customs and Border Protection officer could ask to look through. No warrant, no suspicion, just a request that does not feel like a request when you are 72 years old and standing in front of a uniformed officer after a 9-hour flight. Evelyn Shoreham, 74 years old, retired school teacher from Dearborn, Michigan. She had been visiting her daughter in Amman, Jordan. Her daughter had married a Jordanian professor 15 years ago, and Evelyn flew out every year to see her grandchildren. Every single year. She had done this trip a dozen times. She knew the airports, she knew the routine, she packed the same carry-on bag with the same butterscotch candies she brought for the grandkids in Michigan and the grandkids in Amman. She wore the same cream-colored cardigan because she said the airplane was always cold, and she was right, it always is. I was working her flight back to Detroit, connecting through Washington Dulles. She was seated in 34C, window seat, which she preferred because she liked to watch the landing. I remember her because she thanked me 3 times during the flight. Once for the extra blanket, once for helping her get her bag into the overhead bin, and once, right before we landed, she grabbed my hand and said, "You remind me of one of my students. She became a nurse. I am very proud of her." That is the kind of person Evelyn was. She made you feel like you mattered in a 10-second conversation. When we landed at Dulles, I watched her shuffle up the jetway with her rolling carry-on, moving slow but steady, butterscotch candies tucked in her cardigan pocket. I did not think twice about it. She had done this before. She would be fine. She was not fine. At the CBP checkpoint, an officer asked Evelyn to step aside for additional screening. Now, I need you to understand something. U.S. Customs and Border Protection has the legal authority to search your electronic devices when you are entering the country. Your phone, your laptop, your tablet. They do not need a warrant. They do not need to suspect you of anything specific for a basic manual search. They can ask you to unlock your phone and hand it over. And they can scroll through your photos, your messages, your apps, everything that is on the device itself. And if you are not a U.S. citizen, if you are on a visa, if you are a green card holder, refusing can mean being denied entry. Even if you are a citizen, refusing can mean your phone gets confiscated. It can mean hours of detention. It can mean a secondary screening room with no windows and no one explaining what is happening. Evelyn was a U.S. citizen, born and raised. But when the officer asked her to unlock her phone, she did not understand what was happening. She kept saying, "But I haven't done anything wrong. Why do you need my phone?" And the officer, who was doing his job, I want to be fair about that, said, "Ma'am, it's standard procedure. Please unlock the device." She was confused. She was exhausted. She had been traveling for 14 hours. And her phone, the phone her grandson had set up for her, the phone she barely understood how to use beyond calling and texting and looking at photos, had everything on it. Her messages to her daughter in Jordan, written in a mix of English and Arabic, because her daughter's children spoke both languages, and Evelyn had been learning Arabic phrases to connect with her grandkids. Her WhatsApp messages, her photos, her emails. The officer took the phone. He scrolled. He saw the Arabic text messages. He called over a second officer. Evelyn stood there, 5 feet 2 inches tall, cream cardigan, butterscotch candies, and watched two uniformed men read her private messages to her daughter, while she gripped the handle of her carry-on so tight, her knuckles went white. They held her for 3 hours. 3 hours in a secondary screening room. She missed her connecting flight to Detroit. She sat in that room alone with no phone because they had taken it, and no way to call her son, who was waiting to pick her up in Michigan. No way to call her daughter to tell her she had landed. No way to do anything except sit and wait and wonder what she had done wrong. The answer was nothing. She had done nothing wrong. They gave her the phone back. They let her go. They rebooked her on a later flight. Nobody apologized. And when she finally got to Detroit, 7 hours later than planned, her son told me, because he later wrote to the airline, that she was shaking. She could not stop shaking. And she said to him, "I don't think I can do that trip again." A 74-year-old retired school teacher, a woman who spent her life teaching children, read her text messages to her grandchildren and made her feel like a criminal. And she decided she could not visit her own daughter anymore. That is what we are talking about. I need you to hear this. It is not just happening to people from other countries. It is not just happening to young people or people who look a certain way, though I will be honest with you. I watched it happen disproportionately to passengers who had Middle Eastern stamps in their passports, who had names that were hard to pronounce, who were coming from countries that raised flags in a system they had no control over. But it is also happening to 74-year-old grandmothers from Michigan, and it could happen to you. Here is what I wish someone had told Evelyn before that flight. Here is what I wish I had told her myself, because I was standing right there on that airplane, and I said nothing. I handed her a blanket, and I helped her with her bag, and I smiled when she complimented me. And I did not once think to say, "Ma'am, when you get to customs, you should know what they can do with your phone." That is my failure. I carry it. Now let me tell you what I have learned since, so that you do not end up like Evelyn. Before you fly, especially if you are coming into the US from an international trip, think about what is on your phone. I am not telling you to do anything suspicious. I am telling you to be smart. If you have apps that contain sensitive information, your banking apps, your medical records, your private messages, your password manager, consider whether you need those apps on your phone while you are crossing a border. You can back up your data to a secure cloud service before you travel, remove the apps, and reinstall them once you are safely home. Your data stays in the cloud, safe, and the agents cannot access cloud data, only what is physically on the device. Power your phone all the way off before you get in the customs line, because that disables fingerprint and face unlock. An officer can press your finger to a phone or hold it up to your face, but they cannot force you to type in a passcode. Not legally, not yet. And for the love of everything, if you are going to clean up your phone, do it well before your trip. Don't be deleting things in the taxi on the way to the airport. A phone that looks freshly wiped can raise more suspicion than a phone full of grandkid photos. But every airline is different and rules change. So check with your airline and check the CBP website before you travel. Because what I am telling you is what I learned standing in terminals, not from a legal textbook. I think about another passenger sometimes. Arthur Chin, 79, retired engineer from San Francisco. came through Vancouver on his way home. He had a travel phone. His granddaughter had set it up. Device with nothing on it except his boarding pass, a map app, and some music. When the officer asked to see it, Arthur handed it over. The officer scrolled for 30 seconds, handed it back, waved him through. Arthur told me about it on the connecting flight and said, "My granddaughter is smarter than I am." She said, "Pop, the border is not the place for your real phone." He left, but he was right. And I wish every grandchild in this country would have that conversation before the next international trip. You are sitting there right now, and maybe you have a flight coming up. Maybe you are visiting family overseas or coming home from somewhere beautiful. And the last thing on your mind is what a customs officer might do with your phone. But I need you to think about it. You carry your entire life on that device. Your medical information, your bank accounts, your private conversations with your children and your spouse and your doctor. Things that are nobody's business. And if you are over 70, if you did not grow up with this technology, if your grandchild set up your phone and you are not entirely sure what is on it, you are the most vulnerable person in that customs line, and nobody is looking out for you. The system does not slow down for confused. The system does not make exceptions for kind. I retired 2 years ago. My knees could not take it anymore, and my heart could not either. I saw too many Evelyns, too many gentle, decent people who walked off my airplane and into a system that treated their dignity like an inconvenience. I could not fix it from the beverage cart, but I can fix it from here. I can sit in front of this camera and tell you what I saw, and I can beg you, I am begging you to prepare your phone before your next international flight, the way you prepare your passport and your medications and your boarding pass. Check what is on it. Back up what matters. Strip it down if you need to. And for the younger folks watching this, if your mother or your father or your grandmother is about to fly internationally, do not just drive them to the airport and say, "You'll be fine." Sit down with them, look at their phone, help them understand what could happen at the border. Be the granddaughter Arthur had. Be the person I was not for Evelyn. This channel is for people like us, people who have spent a lifetime being decent and now find themselves walking into airports that do not recognize that decency anymore. If this helped you, share it with someone who has a flight coming up. Subscribe if you want to hear more, because I have 31 years of stories, and I would rather tell them now, while they can still help somebody, than carry them to my grave. Evelyn never flew to Jordan again. Her grandchildren have to visit her now. She told her son she just could not face it. Check your phone before you fly. It takes an evening. An evening could have changed everything for her.